down the course that they've not finished, because those, you know, they will be paddling down that Durham boat now, really. And not even coming forward. So what you'll see, I mean, wonderful that it's so calm, so the coxes aren't having to work hard to keep the boats. You just see the bow in the Sons of the Thames boat there, just leaning forward just to tap the boat. So the bows work quite hard, just, you know, they're the ones get to, and now in the Galway boat, the cox will be just asking them to tap it across. So both the bows are tapping across, so the wind is just blowing them across gently.
If you look at the picture in the top right-hand corner of your screen, you can see the overhead shot of the two boats, and you can actually see where their bows are pointing. So ideally, the coxes are going to want to have the bows pointing straight down the course, so there has to be minimal adjustments on the rudder, because as Alison said earlier, every touch on the rudder does slow the boat down. It is like a brake, and ideally you don't want to be pulling on that too early, because it means that you won't get the optimal start that you need at Henley Regatta.
So
to try and establish a margin on your.
So they'll be nervous, these rowers, but at least they don't have to worry about the steering. The nice thing about being an 8 is you've kind of got that person in charge. So the cox plays a very important role, not just the steerer, but they are the coach in the boat. So I've got a very delayed start here.
I think we've got a bit of a problem at the finish. I think somebody's in a spot of bother down at the finish, some sort of physical reaction, and that's why we are delayed, ladies and gentlemen, from getting off. We've got an issue down at the finish, and whoever it is that is in a bit of discomfort, we wish you all the best. We're not quite sure what is happening. If we hear any more information or updates, we will let you know. But that's why we're sat here waiting for race 114, the first quarterfinal of the Club 8 to get off the start. And I imagine this doesn't help the 18 athletes who are sat ready and waiting to unleash 12 months worth of training. I can imagine the nerves are pretty much at boiling point right now.
So in the Galway boat, we know we've got lots of Galway friends and family watching at home. Stern 3 of this crew are from the runners-up crew in this event in 2013. So they've come back after all this time, having got the runners-up. So we'd hope that they would, in this first round for them today. This is the intermediate Club 8s. So now we get to see what's maybe happened. Is this at the start, these pictures, or this is the finish?
This looks like it's further down the course, doesn't it? If we have a look.
I'm wondering if this is what's holding up the racing.
I would imagine it probably is. I think that's further down the course from where we are, Alison, because I can't see anybody on either side of the booms.
That looks like an Oriel Kensington. I don't think no, not sure.
Well, we don't want to speculate, only speculate on how good James Lee's shorts look. The chap who stood there with the earpiece in, he's going to be helping these girls recover whatever it is that's gone wrong. But it's a desperate shame, isn't it, when equipment malfunction, or even, as you said, someone gets ill on the day and that spoils the culmination of all that training.
I suspect, yeah, that might have been a crash into the booms, or, I mean, it's obviously been a capsize and something bad enough that someone hasn't been able to get back into the boat, and some equipment damage there. And now the thing is, we've got a launch out of action now. So this morning, I think we have 7 launches. Yesterday we had 6, I was on one of them, and it was a pretty tight turnaround to get back up for the top of the next race, because you follow a race down and then you have to go very slowly back up the course so as not to disrupt the water for those on the course, and it takes all that time to get back, and you just tap in. I hope somebody has kind of told these girls a bit about what's happening, because you're just kind of waiting there now in the heat. Thank goodness it's still early. Okay, so we have got that single now clearing the course. Hopefully that means that we will be able to get on with the eights race, but we may have a little bit disrupted racing because we are a launch short now for a while. We've got, reasonable time in the programme. Hopefully we'll be able to get caught back up. Well, I'm looking forward to the start of this eights race. We've got 8 races for the intermediate club 8s this morning. We've got a block of 4. This is the first of 4, and then we've got some junior 8s and academic coxed 4s and some elite pairs. We've got some singles happening, and then we've got some more of these intermediate club 8s later. So we've got 8 races. Very competitive event for the Invesco Perpetual Challenge Cup, sponsored by Invesco Perpetual. Very big backer of rowing and of the regatta.
They do quite a lot with Leander Club, don't they? Invesco Perpetual.
Yeah, I mean I'm pretty sure they're based in Henley, and it's all part of it's great to have this backing. So still the bows tapping it on. Galway have given us a little bit of info, which we would ask actually if you're listening and if you have crews. We do ask when we get asked for. When people do the entries, we ask just for a couple of lines, a couple of highlights, and this all gets put onto a sheet, and it means that in the commentary position here and on the launches, we actually have something about you. So please do fill that in, because it's moments like this that we need it, and we've got it for Galway, and we don't have it for Sons of the Thames. So Galway are going to get the spotlight on them. Now the crews are coming forward. Now they're ready.
So what's the advantage of
Finally.
the information? Is it gives the illusion that we can at least pretend we know what we're talking about.
Sometimes we do. Very occasionally, I think you know a little bit more than you actually might naturally know somebody. Or I put a call out on my to my contacts yesterday and today. Anybody can tell me about some of these crews. Okay, so the crews are forward now. Finally, now they're collecting their nerves. You'll see them forward in that 3/4 position, so the back's a bit more upright, the shin's not quite vertical, because these 8s are heavy. Now this is a tough moment for the coxes. The cox has her hand up in the Thames, Sons of the Thames boats, because she's not happy with that line, so she's getting the bow to tap the boat slightly. So after all this time, the coxes want to be ready. Now the hands go down. Now we can't see, but the cox in the Galway boat must have her hand up, because the other's tapping. Finally, we are off, and those short, stabby strokes to build the rate up, to get out. So this is and we get out now. We're building up to full length.
Yeah, sharp starts from both crews. Clean as well in the 8. This is the first 8 we've seen this morning. It's been small boats, pretty much from the word go. And it's nice to see some big boats out in the Henley course. And actually, those coxes look to have got their lines pretty much spot on.
They've had long enough to get it sorted, haven't they?
Absolutely, yeah. I think there's no excuse really. And actually, on the left-hand side of your picture there, the crew from Galway Rowing Club Ireland have established the early lead there. I think that's probably a third, maybe even half a length as they come down past the famous Temple Islands. Some beautiful shots there that the drone can show us. And yeah, it looks like half a length to Galway. So after all that waiting around, the lactic building up in your legs, it looks like Galway have got off to the better start and certainly used that tension to their advantage. And they are moving out. Every stroke, it seems, they're taking that little bit more off Sons of Thames. And you'd expect that almost. If they've come across from Ireland, they must mean business. They must know that they've got the pedigree and the speed to certainly challenge towards the top of this event. And it's showing here, there on the left-hand side of your picture. They are looking pretty impressive, actually, you have to say.
Well, what a start from Galway. Sons of Thames actually took it off higher, but they didn't it didn't do them any service. Galway got settled, got out to length, but they've not managed to break clear. So Sons of the Thames have still managed to maintain that contact. And actually, as they come past our position, they pulled a little bit back. So Galway really did get a foot per stroke, 2 feet per stroke for the first couple of 100 metres. But then they stopped their progress. So once, maybe Sons of Thames, maybe they were a little unsettled by that start. Now they've settled, and now they're managing to hold on. We'll see as we come past the commentary position. Galway looks good. They're still looking good. Are they able to consolidate? Are they able to break clear? The cox is turning around, having a look. She's urging the crew on. Now they've broken clear. They've got that crucial canvas of clear water between them.
You can hear the noise as you come past. That's unlike anything we've had so far this morning. The raw volume level that comes with the 8s. You know, you've got 16 blades from both crews catching the water together, and that makes for quite a cacophony of sound. And it looks like Galway certainly have got clear water now, haven't they? They are moving out with every stroke continually, building on that. And as they came past us, they looked more rugged of the two crews. There's more aggression as they catch the boat out front. I think they've got almost half a length now, almost a length of clear water, I'd say.
Yep, Sons of the Thames held on for a little while, but once they got that clear water, now they're able to really capitalise on it. Galway are able to settle onto a good 34 rhythm. Sons of the Thames are a little bit higher, a little bit shorter, 36, trying to stay in contact. So as we say, in this Galway crew, the stern 3 of this crew are runners-up from 2013, so they want to make sure they get out there. They've also got 3 Irish national titles in there, and they've got a couple of really good juniors in the boat. And the Cox is also a member of the 2013 Irish Championship crew and is currently coxing in Holland, so they've got some established form. Let's think that probably Galway might have that one sewn up. And going back up to the start of the second heat of this Intermediate Club 8s.
Yeah, race 115. It's Dart Totnes Amateur Rowing Club on the Berkshire station and Oriel Kensington Rowing Club on the Buckinghamshire station. So on the left of your picture, it's Oriel Kensington in that very distinctive green and pink kit. And on the right-hand side of your picture, as it stands in the slightly darker kit with the white blades, Dart Totnes Amateur Rowing Club. And I don't know much about either of these crews. I don't know if you can shed any light on this, Alison, but they look pretty evenly matched. I'd probably hazard a guess that Dart Totnes on the Berkshire station that have got off to the better of the 2 starts, and the drone does indeed confirm my theory. I think that's half a length already to Dart Totnes as they move out from the shadows of Temple Island.
They're really going for it. So still, well past Temple Island, still at 37. You expect to see higher rates in these bigger boats than we've been seeing this morning, and we're certainly getting that. Crews, you imagine all the adrenaline, a little bit anxious, first race out. It's the first side-by-side race for these crews. They had the time trial yesterday morning at 9:25. It's a very competitive event. There were 29 entries, had to come down to 16. So half the crews culled at that stage. They didn't get to come back for the side-by-side racing proper. But this is the first side-by-side race for these girls, and they've almost got it past side-by-side already. So, Dart Totnes ARC.
Straining for that clear water, aren't they? You can see them really pulling on the blade. I think they have just about got a canvas of clear water as they come past our little commentary box, with the buzz of the drone overhead, giving us probably a bit of insight into what the margin is at the moment. But I think in the 8s, the race is not really, in a single, if you get clear water, you'd almost say the race is sewn up. But in the 8s, you can really think anything can happen, because crews do tire or something goes wrong in the middle of the boat. So Oriel Kensington aren't out of this yet, but it depends how well Dart Totnes deal with the middle of the course as they move down in this quarter-final. No, it's not even a quarter-final, is it? It's the heat of the Club 8s, because we've got 8 of these this morning. This is our second of 8. And it is Dart Totnes there on the right-hand side of your picture, who probably haven't moved out since I last spoke. It's still about a canvas of clear water to them. So Oriel Kensington holding the charge.
So both crews, they haven't been able to. The Dart Totnes haven't really relaxed down. They're still up at 35. They're still not. When they came past us, they weren't really rowing out that long. Dart Totnes looked like they got out to a good lead there. We're going up to the start of the next heat now. Again, Intermediate Club 8s between, on the right of your picture now, the distinctive red of Vesta Rowing Club A crew, and on the left of your picture, Canterbury Rowing Club.
I daren't say anything in case I curse it.
These angles, I know. I'm looking at these angles and I'm thinking Canterbury are moving up, and I think Canterbury at the end of the island, Canterbury have just managed to get out to a lead. They're still maintaining their rate of striking, and they're pulling out now with every stroke. It's Canterbury who have this one. We've got a picture at the top, Dart Totnes still holding the earlier race. It's been, so this is the third of these races, and the third of these races where one crew has got out to a length lead pretty much by the quarter mile. It's the first race, first heat. They're not. They did have a time trial yesterday, so half the crews didn't make it through. But this is intermediate club 8, so you've got higher status events at the regatta, and it's still it's a large event, so it's still, you would expect. It's almost a shame if you get a really close race in the heats, because it means that some crew that shouldn't be knocked out at this stage is getting knocked out. So if we look at it from that perspective, we're getting some fair racing here on the course today.
I think the development of these 3 races has been that actually, and it might be a tactic that the crews have employed, is that one crew jumps out as fast as they possibly can to a length. And then, I mean, if you look at the Dart Totnes race that is just about coming towards its conclusion in the top right-hand side of your screen, the crews jump out to a length and they sort of sit there straining to get that clear water, and they do get it usually, but actually it seems to be a tactic that one crew will jump out as quick as it possibly can to try and establish a margin of control over the race, and it's certainly working here for Canterbury.
Well, I think that's what we talked about when we had time, up at the start. And there's Dart Totnes just going through the finish there, securing their place into the next round. Canterbury looking good for this position. It's actually much harder to turn things over. A length in an 8 is a long way. 2 lengths in an 8 is a very long way to try and make up. And we talked about it on the start. This is the tactics of any rowing race. This is why you sprint from the start. You put everything in. You try and get out there. You try and get past clear water, and then you can relax. And they've still got a long way to go. These crews, they've still got another 3 races. They've already had one yesterday. They've got 4 races to get through. So they will want to get out there and then save their legs.
Well, it's race 117, the 4th of our 4-boat block of the Club 8s, and it's Reading Rowing Club on the Berkshire station, the right-hand side of your picture, and Lee Rowing Club A on the left-hand side of your picture, the Buckinghamshire station. And I think my eyesight is slowly improving. It does look like Lee Rowing Club in that orange kit have pretty much done exactly what every other crew has tried to do and move out as quickly as they possibly can, although they don't look like they've been quite as successful as a Canterburysian were in the last race. And I think Lee have about half a length here, Alison, as they come down towards us in the commentary box. And this looks like it might be the closest of the 4 races we've had in the Club 8 so far this morning.
Yep, Lee, the commentator's dream in that distinctive orange kit. You can spot them wherever they are. You don't. There's no. You know what they. Who's approaching you there? Yep, they haven't been able to break clear. They've had a high rate off the start. Clocked them about 38 still by the end of the island. Really pushing that on. As they come past our position now, they've got good length. They're getting right up, particularly in the middle of the boat. They're really able to get right up, but it's
not done and dusted this
no,
one, is it,
not at all. Reading Rowing Club is a really good rowing club, and they're pulling it back. Actually, they've got to half a length now. So now we've got the position where Lee Rowing Club, both crews will have sprinted off the start. Don't be fooled by thinking that it just happened that Lee was sprinting and the crew that's behind were not sprinting. Both crews will have invested a huge amount in the start. Lee has gone out there, they've got out there, but now they haven't been able to break clear. Now both crews have settled now into their race rhythm, and it looks like now it's the crew, although Lee is out there, Reading Rowing Club is moving faster per stroke now. So it'll be interesting to see if they can maintain that and keep that pulling on, or will Lee have something else that they can